Hey all of you out there in Eorzea, welcome to She Heals I Tank, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Today is Friday, December 13th, and this is episode 197 of the Shit Podcast. I'm your host, Vegan Pete, and to the left of me, my better half.
That's right.
The wonderful, the lovely.
Keep it coming.
Pink golden hair goddess.
I think you always go weird with the goddess. I don't.
You said keep going.
I know,
What
but
did you
that's
expect me to do?
not go there. Hey everyone, Avi Ale here. How you doing?
I went there.
Yeah, KK says less pink. Pink fades really fast, guys. It's a hard color to keep up.
Well, thank you for being here, Avi, in your faded pinkness. And thank you and happy holidays to all of you out there listening on the podcast, watching on YouTube, or joining us here live at twitch.tv/SheHealsITank. We really appreciate all the support and love you guys give us. Speaking of support, we have some more subs to shout out this week. Thank you to Ivory Mist, first time sub, DRTV Dakota, Asa Meshame for 2 months, Cater Pants, Wabberjacks, and Shepe2, all for 4 months. Scod Matrix and Sweecy for 5 months, and a tier 3 from Sweecy, thank ya.
I'm just going to play with my holiday emotes while you do this.
Voxna and Heavy Martillery for 7 months. Ace Kaneki Overlord, Mog Moxie for 11 months, almost hitting that 1 year mark. And Pisky, aka Psyche Games, hit that 1 year mark, 12 months. The real hot chili pepper is over 2 years. He's at 28 months. Just insane. I think we got a really good show for you tonight. Avi's in rare form.
What is that?
Not drunk.
Hey, Sonatina. I want to see all the holiday emotes. They make me so happy, you guys.
We have patch 5.15 to talk about, which introduced the Blue Mage, new PvP, and we've got some thoughts on it. We got a stealth nerf that nobody saw coming. We've got a lot to talk about, but before we get to that, we've got everyone's favorite segment.
Greenleaf Minute.
It's the Greenleaf Minute.
And this week's Greenleaf segment has some tips about your market board quality of life. If you didn't already know, you can actually add wish list items on the market board. And this feature has actually been around for quite a while. However, since patch 5.1, you can also add items to a favorites list. And now you can access both of these lists simply by going to the lower left corner of the market board window. There's a heart icon, and that button is to access your wish list items, and a push pin icon that looks more like a magnifying glass, and that lets you access your favorites list. Now,
do you have anything on your favorites list, Avi?
No, not yet. Now you can save up to 100 items on each of these lists. To add an item to your list, simply all you're going to do is search for that item on the market board, and once you find the item listed on the right, you're going to either right-click it on your PC or use the sub-command on console and select which of the two lists you would like to add the item to. Do keep in mind that your wish list is actually cleared out with every maintenance patch, which is why it's such a big deal that we have this favorites now, because those stay. So this is really a great tool for like crafters or anyone who happens to use this, like purchase the same items over and over again.
It's really handy for raid, so you can just like hit that, see all the raid food, see your tinctures.
Yeah, it's very seamless. It's something that you can easily miss and not have noticed that was added with patch 5.1. But just pay attention now to that little push pin and that little heart, and then just right click add items to it. Like I didn't even think about raiding food. That makes a lot of sense. I was thinking of like things that you buy that you craft often, like ingredients for that you don't make on your own. Like, it's just really cool.
Yeah, for me, it's something that changes depending on basically patch to patch. Like, whatever new thing they add, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to buy a bunch of that. Mm-hmm. But now I won't have to buy this anymore. So that one goes off, put a new one on. I don't think I'd ever get to 100 items to put on there. Just what I do doesn't make sense. And I'd really be interested to see anyone that has 100 items on their favorites list.
So Chad is asking, can you have different lists? You only get one favorite list and you get one wish list. So maybe for your rating list, you actually just add that to your wish list, because when the next maintenance comes out, the food you want might change. I don't know how often it changes. So that might be something that's not going to like the most recent glamour item, like that tends to be what people add to their wish list, items that they're not necessarily always going to want. Like I currently want this, but your favorites is the one that you add to and for ones that'll keep there. And I'm pretty positive it sorts it alphabetically, so it's actually pretty easy to find things.
Chili has a really good idea in chat. He says it would be cool if friends could see your wish list so it could work as a gifting system.
It's actually a really cool idea.
That would make sense.
Yeah, like when you examine, all you have to do is like when you examined a person, you could see their wish list. And so then if you went to the lodestone, that would be something on the lodestone as well.
Because really how it's functioning right now is you put something on your wish list, and let's say a crafter or gatherer is looking through all the items for sale and what to sell.
Mm-hmm.
They'll see that a bunch of people are wishing for this, so they might craft or gather a bunch of that item to sell because they know people are in need of it.
Oh yeah,
So
or for an FC, because you're like, as an FC, you're crafting something together and you have those items you need. That's actually something people have mentioned before wanting, is those craftable items, and so having that would be.
So you can actually try to manipulate the system. You could like add stuff that you want, and then maybe crafters or gatherers will see that and they start crafting and gathering a bunch of it. And then they flood the market. There's too much and it drops in price. If that's what you're hoping for.
It's okay. The real Chili Pepper just said that he's going to email Yoshi P about it right now to make sure that he is aware.
A direct email to Yoshi P? My God, Chili's got the hookup.
At least that's what he says in chat.
All right. Anything else to add to your Greenleaf Minute, Avi?
That was it.
Then let's get to everyone's favorite segment.
Why are you stealing my intro to my awesome segment?
I forgot.
For your crappy
I
one?
forgot. This is not everyone's favorite segment.
This is no one's.
Your favorite segment.
No.
Avi's favorite segment.
Mm-mm.
It's the tweet of the week. It's the tweet of the week. And really, this one, it wasn't actually tweeted at us, but it's someone I follow, so I just decided to steal it.
Oh, this one was funny.
And it is our axe-throwing buddy anyway, so I feel okay doing it. Scarlet. And they tweeted, "This didn't age well," and had a picture of a slide from a fan fest or a live letter. I forget which one it was from.
It was a live letter, I'm pretty sure.
But it was for Blue Mage unique characteristics. And it said,
I was wrong.
The first limited job in Final Fantasy XIV. That's still true.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that people had an issue with is originally it was designed for solo play.
Not so much anymore.
And not suited for parties.
Not so much anymore.
Which I guess they can kind of retcon that one and say, hey, we just meant not your typical party.
Well, and also, and that the Mask Carnival can only be accessed by solo.
I believe that's still true.
Still true?
I haven't even done a single Mask Carnival, so I have no idea. But really now, you have to be in a party to get all the achievements for Blue Mage. Because you have... Oh, we'll talk about Blue Mage a little bit later. I'm not going to get into it for the... It's the tweet of the week. Not going to get into it for the tweet of the week.
And so Chili says, well, so it was FanFest, which was a live letter, though. So that's actually both right. So I'm wrong and right at the same time, which I think is my life.
Like me, being right all the time?
Sure, Pete. Sure.
All right. Let's move on to news and notes from around the realm.
So, as we mentioned at the top of the show, it's the holiday season. Woohoo! Christmas lights behind us. With that comes the Starlight Celebration, and it is going to be starting next week on Wednesday the 18th at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you will have until December 31st at 6:59 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You are going to start this quest at the amphitheater in Old Gridania. You're going to talk to Garanji.
I always said Garanji.
Garanjy.
I think every time I've started like doing this quest on stream, I just end up calling her Ganja.
That sounds like something you would do. And the quest you're going to pick up is titled All I Want for Starlight. The rewards and the loot that you'll be getting from this event are the Saint Lee Barding, the Starlight de Chocobo Orchestrion roll, choir concert advertisement housing poster, Starlight roll cake, which is a housing item, and a Starlight Gubu wreath. They're all actually really, really cute. I didn't open the link up because I'm a dum-dum. Open link.
I mean, they're okay. I think it's a little bit...
I like the chocobo barding. Like it's kind of like your chocobos kind of got like the winter coat mixed with Santa Claus coat. Like it's kind of adorable with a big poofy fur thing around his head. I kind of
see the Gobu wreath is cool, but I am like 99.99% sure we're not going to be able to put like that on the outside of our door.
No, it's an indoor
and
feature.
It's like, why don't they add like a door knocker to the outside of the house? That'd be kind of interesting.
What I kind of love about the Gobu wreath, if you look at it, is it's actually a really, really thin wreath. Also, it looks like it's ivy, which is not what a wreath is made out of during the holiday season.
A wreath can be made out of anything.
It can, but a Christmas wreath, or like generally like a December wreath, is pine because ivy isn't always necessarily accessible.
Have you ever seen a pine tree in Final Fantasy XIV?
Probably. Yeah, the Christmas trees. All right, so it's this little thin ivy wreath with flowers, which is all spring, and then a gigantic fat Gobu that has like a ribbon tied around it to like hold it in place. Like he's so chubby and fat that he's like precariously. I like picture this. I go, hey Pete, make me a Christmas wreath, and this is what you do. And I'm like, okay, well if I don't hold it right, then the giant Gobu in the center is gonna fall over, and I need to make sure that I mount it just right.
Perfectly balanced as everything in Final Fantasy is between the light and the dark.
That's kind of how
the Gobu and the ivy. It's all perfectly balanced.
It's all perfect.
KK McLeod wants a Santa stuck in a chimney housing item.
Like on the outside of your house?
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
See, all of these things you guys are asking for are things that people could make with like the housing tricks. So like you can't actually put anything on doors.
Yeah, we don't have a chimney.
There are chimneys.
On the top of the house?
Yeah, you can add a little chimney. Well, it's not necessarily a chimney, but you can add features.
They should just have like a Christmas skin or a Starlight skin for the house.
If you can get to the roof of your house, there are tricks to put housing items on your roof.
Sounds like a pretty good Greenleaf video.
That's not. It's not something I'm. Other people have definitely done this. I am not someone who's done this. I've seen this done. So it is possible for someone to like jerry rig it, but it's not something that's done. But yeah, there are chimneys, Pete, but there are really not very many options for them. I would like to see some more exterior stuff. It'd be cool if we got like custom doors. Like even if you wanted to put this wreath on the inside of your door, you'd have to float it. You couldn't actually put this on your door. Like you can't hang stuff on your doors. So even outside, if this were an outside feature, it would be a wall feature, not a door feature, unless they change the way housing works, which I don't see them doing, unless they made holiday seasonal doors and windows, which I actually think would be really cool. So like you had a winter windows that had snow on the eaves and the awning, you know, that you could use in the different houses. That'd be really cool.
You know, everyone has such great ideas. Do you think like we're kind of at the mercy of Final Fantasy XIV success? Like I just thought of this. Like the more successful it is, the less incentive they have to make another Final Fantasy MMO. Like they're just going to keep it going for as long as they can. And we're not going to get like a new, better engine where they can do more interesting things with, like until it starts to, I don't like using this term, but peter out.
Chill even just said 11 was still doing relatively well when they made 14.
But was it?
I don't have numbers to answer that. I honestly I want to debate you on this, but I honestly don't know.
How I like to win debates.
I don't agree or disagree. I mean, like, I feel like when 14 is less popular, that's when the next online Final Fantasy game will come out.
But according to Yoshi, like, it's at its peak right now. They're not going to do it while it's at its peak. We'll have to have, like, 2 expansions of decline.
Well, but I mean, even if you look at graphics, like I actually shared a screenshot with a friend that was like an older screenshot and then a newer one, and it was of the same area. And it was kind of amazing to me how much better the game looks now. So, I mean, maybe they're not doing full, overhauls like that, but they are doing tiny tweaks to make everything consistently and look better. So I don't think the game's in need of it at this point.
Okay.
I think you're just like to bitch about things.
I do not like to bitch about things.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts me because I like this game so much. But sometimes, and I wasn't even bitching. That's just something I thought of. That was not in the outline. What is in the outline is patch 5.15. It hit this week. Nothing too surprising, except for a surprise nerf, Avi.
Oh no, it was nerfed.
The thing that got nerfed was that 2B ass. They downsized the dumper.
Okay.
They said adios to the ass. Bye to the bums, toodaloo to your tutor. Kiss your keister goodbye. Sayonara to your seat. Wrecked your rear. Parted ways with your pooper. Farewell to the fart box.
So are you uninstalling?
I already did.
Okay. Did you Google like different ways to say butt, or did you just like, is this all you?
That is all me, baby.
They buttered, huh?
Thought a fart box right at the end.
Fart box. Well, so I thought that they only nerfed it where with certain gear sets, so it's not all the time. So it's only with gear that clips. I'm air quoting clips. So it's basically where it looks the best because I like a hint of cheat.
I thought it was just the 2B.
No, it's with certain gear sets over it. So like certain shirts and stuff that were air quotes clipping the butt is when it's smaller. It's not smaller all the time is what people are saying.
But when I had like nothing on, like
it
no
still looked super
still
clipped
looks
on you.
super
You're
flat.
Right. Yeah, it was super flat again. I don't know. I'm just like, there's different things I'm hearing, but yeah, it was definitely, yeah.
Don't tell people about the Final Fantasy 14-hour stream, KK. We're doing a show here.
Watch both at the same time.
Besides the diminished derriere, we got what we expected. Blue Mage got an increase in the level cap, a slew of new abilities to learn, new stages of the Masked Carnival have been added, and a friggin' sweet Morble mount if you get all the Blue Mage achievements.
It's a pretty wonderful mount. It like carries you with one of its tentacles.
I haven't been able to do any of this.
Oh wait, Sanatina has a question for you, Pete. They're saying, so are you saying that Square Enix doesn't like big butts and they cannot lie?
They're not even trying to lie about it. They're throwing it in your face.
A little bit.
Or they're not throwing
we
that ass in your face.
We demand our asses back.
Look at that Ace Kaneki Overlord with 204 bits.
What's the reason for the 204? I feel like there's a mathematical reason for 204. Are you just trying to beat somebody?
Kind of looks kind of cool.
It does look really cool.
Yeah, my Blue Mage is only level 34.
I don't know.
Do you know what level your Blue Mage is?
Nope.
Definitely not at the level where we can go to 60 anytime soon.
Nope.
So we're not going to get these for the near future.
I didn't love it. Sorry, guys.
But I will say, with the addition of this patch of the Duty Finder for Blue Mage, it makes it a little less annoying to try to get shit done, I think. Mm-hmm. I kind of didn't want to bother people with trying to form groups with me to get certain abilities. But now that there's a Duty Finder for it, I would queue up for that.
That makes sense.
So I like that. I think that's a really good addition, actually, to Blue Mage. It is just kind of funny that they said, you're going to do so much solo with this job, and now all of a sudden you absolutely need to group with people to get all the abilities.
Sonatina's After My Heart, they just said, nice segue talking about butts and then heading to the Duty Finder.
Oh, hell yeah.
Every time I hear Duty Finder, that is exactly how I hear it. I am a child.
I am disappointed in myself for not thinking of that.
I was like, yeah. I also have to say, if you guys remember the gift I was going to get when I finished school was to play Kingdom Hearts 3, which Pete got me the game, so I have not been logging into 14 because I have been all about the Kingdom Hearts action, so I haven't really done much of anything because I was just an Arendelle, y'all. All right. So speaking of things to do in game, a new frontline mode has been added. I think Pete wants to talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later. It's in our discussion segment because I had a few more thoughts than I thought I was gonna have on it originally.
Mm-hmm.
But for just a little taste, just the tip, if you will, a little preview of my thoughts, I'll just read a direct quote from the patch notes. The rules of engagement and victory requirements are generally the same as those in Seal Rock Seas. And when I read that in the patch notes, I kind of knew everything I needed to know.
You were done? You're like, that's it? We're good?
About this version of PvP.
Sorry.
Previously, we had discussed that Final Fantasy XIV was nominated for not one, not two, but 3 Game Awards this year.
I know, I was so excited.
They were nominated for Best Community Support, which a lot of people in the community took that the wrong way. this is like how a developer is supporting, like communicating with the community.
Okay.
I saw a lot of like Facebook posts about like, our community is way better than Destiny 2. Like, we're so helpful to other players.
That's not what
I'm like,
about.
yeah, that's not what that award is about.
Really? Oh no,
Yeah.
I didn't think that. Okay.
Because some people just saw it as like the community award. No, it's the community support.
It's not
award.
for you guys. It's for them.
That'd be a good award though. They need to just like start ranking.
You guys have the best players out of every game.
They need to start ranking communities of games. I would very much enjoy that one.
Your players are so much better than the players of that.
And
game
I want
over there.
a leaderboard all year.
Fortnite's like, you guys are just really annoying.
They're like, you guys are garbage.
Still, Pete, that literally sounds like a dog barking.
Garbage. Sounds like garbage to me.
If you talk at all when you pushed it, it sounded like a dog barking.
Garbage.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't think that's a very good one.
Well,
they gave an award to best Reddit group instead.
I just found it like 30 seconds ago.
Okay. You seem very happy with it.
Oh yeah, so best community support, ongoing game, role-playing game. That's what they were nominated for. The awards were last night. And Final Fantasy XIV walked away with nada. What you get for taking away the butts. You didn't communicate that with the community, and it hurt you.
It's all because the butts were taken away?
Yes.
Oh.
It was a last-minute change. They were like, they had it, and then like they just like ninja put that patch note in. They were like, we changed some things with the 2B outfit, and people were not happy.
This is not real at all. Please do not believe my husband. He is kind of an idiot.
That's confirmed.
I'm sorry that he has this platform to share his opinion on.
Everyone has a platform if you build it. But yeah, I guess it was a tough night for Final Fantasy XIV at the Game Awards. But it's an honor just to be nominated, I suppose.
That's what losers say, though.
But I say a lot. I don't know. Role-playing game went to Disco Elysium, which won a ton of awards. So I feel like I kind of should play that.
I know nothing about
and
it.
I think it was kind of like an indie game, too. So ongoing game went to Fortnite. And I'm guessing probably just
That's
because
like giving it to the freaking popular kid.
Just because of their big Chapter 2 reveal they had, because I feel like
it's such an original idea.
Well, I feel like Fortnite's like really dropping in popularity right now.
Well, you can't,
at least from
once you get so popular, you become unpopular because then it's like, everyone does.
That's like saying World of Warcraft is really unpopular, even though it's still the biggest MMO.
Right.
And community support went to Destiny 2. And there's a lot of people in our Discord that play Destiny 2, so I do feel like
Final Fantasy Destiny crossover.
I feel like there is probably pretty good community support, but you know, this is my uninformed opinion. I'm like, God, I find it really hard to believe another company communicates with the community as good as Final Fantasy XIV does. Like, you have multiple live letters before a patch. You usually have a part 1 and a part 2 before a patch.
One of our viewers in chat just says, I'm literally playing Destiny 2 right now.
Yeah, and it can be a very good game, but I just have a hard time believing.
Why don't you play it and then shut the fuck up?
No, it's not even playing. I'd have to research how many events they have.
I think do not feel that is an educated opinion to have. I feel like
I said at the beginning it's not an educated opinion to have.
Well, I feel like it's bullshit and it's stupid to say. I think that's completely.
That's the whole point about having your own platform. You can say anything you want.
Okay. Because I just know, like, seeing the difference in, like, the ESO community stuff and, like, the Final Fantasy community stuff, and even things as simple as the language barrier make it difficult.
Mieko just said that in chat. I still think it has to do with the Japanese-only live letters and booty nerfs.
I thank you for being on the same mind wave as me, Mieko. Like, it does give that kind of barrier between a large portion of the players is that language barrier.
Why are the Game Awards so racist? This is what I'm trying to get at.
Oy, we're having one of those nights. Can I have the rest of the beer and take it away from you now?
Never.
You're on your way to drunk Pete, it seems.
No, I'm happy Pete at the moment.
Orange Juice just said that the raids in Destiny are really fun.
We're not talking about gameplay. We're talking about community support.
I just feel like you can't talk about community support because you don't know anything about community support for any other game.
Exactly.
So shut up.
I told you.
Shush.
This is
Shush,
uninformed
shush,
opinion.
zip.
Just by knowing
Zip it.
from previous games that I've played, Final Fantasy XIV has really good. It's the best I've ever
Are
seen.
you literally only talking about Dark Age of Camelot like every other time you say
I've
this?
played other games.
Like,
Mario Kart.
can I have a crickets emote right now?
You want an emote or a sound effect?
Whatever. Yeah. Okay, Pete. You need to like edumacate yourself and then come back.
All right. I'm going to do that just to throw it in your face.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So we're at Final Fantasy XIV. Got robbed, in my opinion.
I do think it should have gotten the best ongoing MMO. That was the one, right?
Oh, have you played Fortnite? Or are you just doing an uninformed opinion, Avi?
The other... I'm trying not to hit my mic.
Fucking owned.
I've watched people play Fortnite. I have no desire to play Fortnite. It's not my style of game. I've talked to people who play Fortnite. Not the type of people I generally associate with. But I think Final Fantasy has done an amazing job of keeping, like, the fact that, you know, at patch...
Well, since you haven't played it, I don't think you have an informed opinion.
That's totally different, Pete. Oh, you're gonna be that person tonight? He's literally just trying to put me in a bad mood now is what he's trying for, guys.
Poking the bear.
I actually genuinely feel like after Shadowbringers, after the incredible direction that Final Fantasy took the game with this last expansion, I feel like they deserved it. Like, not even as like a player, as like a fan of the game, I feel like with how strong the game got with this last expansion, like they deserved it.
I was looking at Metacritic, and I think it was like Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers was the only MMO to make like the top list of the games for the decade, the like last decade.
Right. Like, so I genuinely feel like they deserved it.
I think it's what's popular at the time.
And that's
Final Fantasy XIV was the only MMORPG. Everything else was battle royales, and that's kind of
so we were the dark horse of
the
group?
flavor of the half decade, I guess. It wasn't popular at the beginning of the decade, but
no, it's be the thing recently.
All right, so let's forget about the Game Awards. They're garbage.
I hope you guys can understand that, because they're garbage like that.
Every time you say, I hope you can understand, I'm probably going to play it again.
Yeah. Okay.
You want me to talk about this one too?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I can talk. I talked about that with you. Don't even act like. Oh my goodness, you are like a salty little thing tonight.
Yeah, I am.
All right. Little. So, maybe some of your friends have taken a break from Final Fantasy XIV because, you know, they're annoyed with Vegan Pete. They're just like, you know, I just can't deal with the game anymore because this guy just gets on my nerves.
Grow thicker skin.
But now is the time to tell them to pick it up again because we have a free login campaign that starts on Friday, December 13th at 12 a.m. and lasts all the way until Tuesday, January 14th.
I do have a little
6:59 a.m., but I do want to say it's only for 5 days. You don't get to play that entire time period.
I do have a semi-funny story to tell about this.
Can we finish the login campaign?
Really quick. This has to do with the login campaign.
Okay.
Mocha Jones in our Discord. Very unlucky. The last 2 times they've done this free login campaign, he's resubbed to the game like 2 days before they started.
Aww. Is that your whole story?
I said it was only semi-entertaining, okay? I didn't build it up too much.
Okay. So just a note that this free login period is for 5 days, which includes the day on which the user first log in, and then the period ends on the 4th day at 11:59 p.m. local time. So there are a whole bunch of notes to take into account regarding the free login account, but rather than read them all to you right now, we're going to put a link in the show notes. So
I mean, basically, you have to be unsubbed for 3 months. You can't just like let your account lapse and be like, oh, I can play 5 days. No, they're not going to let you take advantage of that.
They're consecutive days. But yeah, so if you're going to do it, don't just like assume it's going to work out. Make sure you read the fine print.
Yeah, the most important note is as soon as you log in through the patcher, that's when your time starts. So if you download the patch and you put your password in, it started. you better get to playing. Don't patch until you can play. Don't patch in advance.
Right.
It's fucking fast now, okay? Unless you're on PS4, then you're fucked. But start that like 2 days before you're ready to patch.
Okay.
I'm gonna get emails. I play on PS4.
You're just
Goes
kind of
fast.
being not nice tonight, so I think you might get a few emails.
I told you I had a Pete's peeve. Kind of stuck with me. Oh, Chili says PS4 can download before login.
That makes sense.
All right. Go at it, PS4s.
All right, Pete.
You got a lore question for me, baby?
I do.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me hard.
Wait. Why were the... Go ahead, say what you're going to say.
No, I'm just laughing. I'm like, I'm going to get some hate mail.
Why were the grand companies originally formed? A.
Orgies.
After the last calamity, the realm was overrun with new adventurers and needed an organization in order to help guide them.
Can I look at your screen so I can read it? Because I'm having a really hard time listening to you.
Start over. Thank you for subbing, guys, and like especially with what's happening tonight.
I think I'm having fun.
I'm going to start over. All right, Pete, listen to me, okay? These words are important. Why were the grand companies originally formed? A. After the last calamity, the realm was overrun with new adventurers and needed an organization in order to help guide them through their leveling. B. To guard the Eorzean city-state's supply of crystals from the beast tribes of the region, in turn preventing them from summoning their various gods. C. To protect the Eorzean city-states because the realm's ether was imbalanced toward water and an oncoming flood was imminent.
Can you read that one again?
To protect the Eorzean city-states because the realm's aether was imbalanced toward water and a flood was imminent. D. To protect Eorzean city-states from Garlean attacks.
Either B or D. What's B again?
To guard the city's supply of crystals from the beast tribes.
I feel like you wrote that one. Like you came up with that one. Because it kind of sounds plausible because we were always trying to keep crystals away from the beast tribes. But do we really have a source that we're guarding? Is kind of just like, hey, they're taking all the crystals. I don't know where we're getting them. They're getting them from. I'm going to go with the big D, baby.
You're wrong.
What?
The grand companies were started because of an imbalance in the ether toward water, and there was an imminent flood.
A literal water flood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such bad writing.
I actually thought that was really interesting.
Oh, I heard that, and I was like, that's shit. And I hate to use shit as a derogatory term because it's the name of our podcast.
We've been doing it a lot
But
lately.
goddamn, that was poop.
But Pete, if you remember from episode 192, that there was also an Olden-based organization dedicated to the distribution of elemental crystals and trade relations between the city-states and the beast tribes. So there actually was an organization called the Ash Crown Consortium.
Oh, I would have known that.
Who actually did manage the distribution of the crystals. So that is where I got the idea for that answer because it made sense based off of previous lore.
I got that one right, though, right?
You did.
Hell yeah.
So I tried to at least make the answers I had plausible because of that.
Yeah. I totally thought that was just bad writing, so I didn't pick that one.
No, that was them.
That was them. All right, Avi. 5 things Final Fantasy XIV needs to remain the best MMORPG of our time is the headline of an article written by Josh Brown over at digitaltrends.com.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the 5 things he's picked as to what the game needs and see if we agree with him.
Okay.
A truly seamless world is the first thing he thinks it needs to survive as the best game of our time. Best MMORPG of our time. This is his biggest pet peeve of the game, actually. He hates loading screens. This is more regarding to when you're traveling in the overworld, like going from Central Thanalan to Western Thanalan and getting hit with a loading screen. He wants it to be seamless. Just naturally transition into it without any sort of loading screen. So what do you say?
How many MMOs have no loading screens?
I've never played World of Warcraft, but I believe he mentioned World of War. And I'm not saying like totally no loading screens, but like
More
in
seamless?
some going zone to zone, like if you obviously teleport from like Thanalan to Lenosia, you get hit with the loading screen. But if you're
I find loading screens annoying, but I actually don't find the time of the loading screens in 14 to be really annoying. I just don't feel like they're that extreme. I mean, because if you play other games, whether it's non-MMO, like every Final Fantasy game, because the graphics are so intense, they have loading screens. That's just all Final Fantasy games.
So would you consider a seamless world something that Final Fantasy XIV needs to continue to be the best MMORPG of our time?
It won't, because it's Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy games don't work that way because they're beautiful.
And it's not even that for me. For me, it's just something that would be nice and cool, but never definitely something that I would say we need to have.
If the loading screens were longer in the game, like when I first started playing ESO, and before I upgraded the size of my SSD, and I was playing it off of an HDD. God damn, words are hard. Before I was playing off a solid state hard drive, it was the loading screens were painful for me. And I didn't really notice it so much in Final Fantasy when I was playing it because I played that on the solid state. And so I think he needs a better computer.
Or playing on PS4.
Oh,
I don't know, but you can upgrade your PS4 to a solid state.
That makes a really big difference. I mean, the type of hard drive you have your game installed on makes a huge difference for loading screens, I do have to say. And so, like, I know you guys always hear me talk about ESO on the side, but that's the one game that I saw go from one hard drive type to another, and the difference in your load times is huge. So I do think that if they bother you, make sure you're installed on an SSD with plenty of space.
Yeah, this was their like number one thing. This wouldn't even be high up on my list at all. Just about everything I've played had them to some extent, so it just doesn't bother me. Like, I don't mind.
If they're long, they bother me. They do. If other people are like, "Hey, I'm waiting for you," I'm like, "Fuck your face."
But even on PS4, like, what's the longest loading screen? Like, I never feel like I have to wait for a PS4 player more than 15 seconds or so. I don't mind looking at my phone for a second.
But you shouldn't have to. So I get that, but I don't know. I guess if you're accounting it for other people, I'm not.
So for me, not high up on my priority list, but maybe.
says we need thick butts, not seamless transitions.
Hell yeah.
I feel like
we should have longer transitions in exchange for bigger butts.
I'm going to say that for each of these. We need thick butts, not number 2. We need thick butts, not number 3.
This is how the rating system will go. Would you rather have thick butts, or would you rather have what this guy says is the most important things?
Okay.
So say in chat what you would rather have: no loading screen or thick butts.
Thick butts.
Next up is true raids and more strategic dungeons. He wanted to properly explore and hunt goblins in Alexander like he shut down Lich King's forces in Icecrown back in his WoW days. That's a direct quote from him. I don't know what any of that means.
So this guy's a legit like WoW player. Like
It does seem like he legitimately played a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, and maybe he even likes 14 more than WoW.
Yeah.
He's just, that's like how you compare to ESO, he has WoW to compare to.
I mean, I played WoW too, but this is like a lot of WoW. So he wants more strategic dungeons. I actually agree with this. We've talked about wanting more strategic dungeons.
Yes, we have.
Like, I think that would be really, really cool. And we've already expressed that we would like this in the game.
We'd like dungeons with a little more variety to them, change up the formula a little bit, and really even something as small, as simple as what Sastasha had. Remember, Sastasha, the first dungeon in the game, when they had that note right when you started off
That's
the
still
dungeon.
there, right?
It's still there.
Yeah.
But no one does it anymore,
right?
Because it's so goddamn easy.
Doesn't matter.
But
tell you what color you had to unlock for the first boss.
Yeah, you would read the note. At the bottom of the note, it would say a color, and when you got to the different colored corals on that first boss, you'd pick the correct role and you'd have one less mob to fight. Even something as simple as that adds just like a little bit more enjoyment to the dungeon for me. Like it gave us a little something more to do.
No, Cater Pants just said make Orenvale too. Nope. I'd take a fat ass over that any day.
Take that fat ass.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Ace Kaneki. Just gifted a tier 1 sub to Disco Cub. You're a sweetheart. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ace.
That's and we got some emotes shared.
That was like like all the dungeons that have a little bit of uniqueness. Those are the ones that I remember.
But for me, I think you're only talking about uniqueness in mechanics?
I mean, what else are you going to talk about? I mean,
aesthetic?
Just aesthetic. I think Final Fantasy XIV does a pretty damn good job with aesthetic. All the dungeons like feel different to me. I don't think I'm like running through Hawk Manor all the time.
Yeah.
So I think they do a pretty good job on that.
Mm-hmm.
As for raids, I'm kind of split on this. I don't really enjoy trash mobs just to have something before the boss. It doesn't really add to my immersion. It just seems like a waste of time.
Okay.
I'm kind of okay with something like Faust in Alexander having to get past like one gatekeeper type thing.
I don't really know what they mean by true raids. Like what's not true?
When they say true raids, they mean like kind of like gauntlet style, like you're fighting through a whole bunch of stuff to get to the boss.
Oh.
And Final Fantasy in general is just like you're just fighting one
at
big
a time.
One big bad.
I actually am okay with the way our 24-man raids work. I think by combining...
Well, he's talking about like the 8-man Savage raids too and the 8-man normal raid.
He wants to work to get to the final
he wants
boss.
to work to get to the bosses. We kind of just get a cutscene and then we're at the boss.
I feel like they work to make the fights and the rotations are more difficult for 14. The rotations have way more going on than a lot of other games, and so I think I don't want a bunch of trash to get to where I need to go. That's like Palace of the Dead, where you're like, I just want to beat these hard fights, floors, but I gotta beat all these trash floors beforehand. I don't like that.
And that's kind of my thing. It's
There's
like
no skill in that.
It's
That's
either gonna be trash and you get through it really quickly, and it's more of just an annoyance.
That's what I thought he was saying. I just wanted to verify
to get to the boss, or you make it legitimately hard, but then it ups the overall time involved to get to that final boss, and you don't have enough time to practice on, like, if you make the trash just as hard as the boss to get there, like, that's a lot of time invested to learn that, and then
you're literally just adding time.
Learn the final boss.
Like, even so, it'd be kind of cool to me. So, if like Palace of the Dead, if they added a way where, like, okay, we've added, instead of having to do the 100 floors before, is it 100 before?
Well, we had 200 in Palace of the Dead, 100 in Heaven on High.
No, but it's 100 before you get to the hard floors.
For Palace of the Dead, really, it's to like 150 before they're hard.
Okay, but so like they considered those first 100. So if they added a thing where like you can do these 10 floors instead, which are way harder, and they take the place of that, and you could skip it and jump ahead, like I think that would be fine for the people because that makes it a skill commitment versus a time commitment.
Yeah, and I think that's what we have right now. I think Final Fantasy raids are a little bit harder. Like you said earlier, they are rotation intensive. Comparing to like ESO, you got to click on mobs. You got to make sure you're hitting them. You got to make sure you're clicking on people to heal them. It's not a whole bunch of AoE healing. So I think there is a little more skill involved, I would say.
I wouldn't say there's more skill in Final Fantasy than ESO.
I'm going to say it.
There's different skill.
I'm going to say it. More skill involved.
You're doing the thing again where you've only played one of the games.
That's what I like to do.
Makes this a great informative podcast. You're welcome, guys.
But generally, I think the story part, the cutscene part that we get in a raid, both in the 8-man raids and the 24-man raids, is enough to fulfill my immersion that I don't need to go through a bunch of trash to get to the final boss.
I agree with that part.
Again, I would not put this on the top priorities. I'll take thick butts. Do you want thick butts or do you want more immersive raids and dungeons?
I don't care about the raids. I would like more strategic dungeons.
So there's a very important distinction between strategic and hard, because we've talked about wanting hard dungeons before. That's not necessarily what we're asking for. Maybe
strategic is more like puzzles and maze, and Final Fantasy has always been so big on like the puzzle elements of the game, and it would be really cool to see that added to the dungeons.
Yeah. Multiple routes Maybe one might be a little bit harder, or even as simple
or
as
like the flamin' fruit that's got to go in the
Yeah,
I know we'll
exactly.
learn it eventually, but it's just really fun to learn that stuff together.
And even as simple as if there's two options, one's quicker, one has more rewards.
Yeah.
And you just got to choose which one you go. And it wouldn't be a huge difference, maybe 5-10 minutes difference, but you'd have to choose whether you want to go quick or you want to get some loot.
Like sex.
Quit.
All right, so number 3 is less predictable content cycles. And in this, he thinks Final Fantasy XIV needs a less predictable content cycle, which means that we know with every even number patch, we're going to get 2 dungeons. With every odd, we're going to get 1, and we'll get a primal, and we know when raids come out, etc. I do not think this is an issue. Literally, to change this, it would be the exact same amount of stuff, but you wouldn't know when you'd get it. And that, by mixing that up, you're trying to get people to stop subbing.
Yeah.
Yoshi P's whole thing is you can unsub, you can play other games, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the content cycle. I think it's just when we do get unique things, they haven't really hit. So it doesn't feel like we're getting any sort of different things.
Right.
Because
well, but less predictable content versus less predictable content cycles are 2 different things.
Yeah, and I think he kind of worded it a little bit wrong.
Less predictable content, yeah. Less predictable content cycle, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, because I think you do need to have a base. And
yeah, I'm okay with at A, B, and C, you get D, E, and F. Like, I'm okay with that.
Stuff that you get every patch. We want dungeons every patch. We want a primal. That's what we're getting.
It makes sense for the story.
I think what's kind of screwed up, and this is what he's getting at, is I guess at the very beginning when they started decreasing the amount of dungeons we got and started adding new unique content, we got Diadem. And at first, Diadem was kind of popular. We went in it, and then it died really quickly.
Yep. Because everybody got the things they wanted out of it, and then we're like, it's not fun.
And then we had Eureka, and people were really all about it in the beginning, and then we went to Pyros, and then it died.
I do love, so KK McLeod actually said what I've pretty much been kind of hinting at, is that this guy is just saying, please make Final Fantasy XIV World of Warcraft. Like, it does sound like he's just, the things about WoW that he loved, Final Fantasy doesn't have, and he wants it to have that. And it's a different game. Like, you need to appreciate it.
Well, I didn't make that
differences.
connection because I don't play it. Never played it past week 1.
It's like dipping your toe. Not even your toe.
That's all
it's
I
like
needed.
The tip of your toe.
Back to Dark Age, baby. But yeah, I think if Diadem had been a success, if Eureka had been a success, if PvP was fun, the jury is still out on Restoration of Ishgard. The amount of time I spent on the content I just listed is a minuscule amount compared to the other basic parts of the game, the dungeons, the raids.
And I do have to say, and this is a spoiler based off of this list, I do find it interesting that PvP is never mentioned on this list. I feel like having the PvP be more enjoyable would be a really important part of this.
He must have played on a PvE server in WoW.
Which says what kind of a player he was. Yeah, like, because that was one of the big differences. WoW's PvP was a lot of fun, and you had the option to choose PvP-based servers.
Ian Cho asked, when are we getting new relics? And AC added on what I was going to say. We could get an announcement of that in the live letter that's going on right after our podcast. It's when they should be starting the live letter, or an hour later maybe.
So about 5.2.
Yeah, probably either 5.2 or 5.25. I believe in 4.x it was 4.25, but it was delayed. It was supposed to be 4.2, but it got delayed to 4.25.
I do wish they would, sorry, I'm getting off your 5 things with this guy. I wish they'd go back to making relics kind of the way they were done before. I
totally 100% agree with you. It should be part of the open world.
I miss making friends in open world content. I really do. Like, I had a lot of fun doing that.
We do know they are reworking the Diadem. We don't really exactly know what for.
Please don't tie it to Eureka again.
Whether it has something to do with Diadem.
Ian Show, like who just said that in chat, when they tied it to Eureka, I stopped doing the relic.
I don't think they're going to double up on Eureka. That seems just too repetitive for Square Enix, to be honest. I don't think they would do that. I think Eureka's done. They got to their final thing with the whole Ozma mount, whatever you have to do for that. I forget what it's called. Baldessian Arsenal. So I think that is done. Hopefully. God, if you make me wrong on that, Square Enix, I'm going to hate you so much.
So Chili said that the diadem is for Ishgardian gathering. So don't worry about that.
I don't even think that makes it good.
All right, so we're already past the predictable content cycles.
Really quickly, I want to say, we talked about Final Fantasy XIV being a theme park last week, and that content, you have to like make brand new rides that people want to go to on over and over again. And that's the dungeons, that's the raids, that's not Diadem, that's not Eureka. That's something you do once and then you never wanted to do it again. You get what you want. You get it, your mount, you got your mount, get it. You got your mount, you got your relic, and then you have no incentive to do it again.
The theme park metaphor or comparison to me is that theme park rides are designed for different kinds of people. And there are rides that are more popular than others, but some rides are for thrill seekers and some rides are not. And so it all depends upon the kind of ride that you are looking for. And I feel like that's a very important element to saying it's like a theme park.
Theme
I'm
parks
not saying that
definitely
Diadem
know
was a win.
what is more popular. Okay,
Well,
so you need to add more popular rides if you're going to be successful.
The majority of your rides need to be more popular, which I do feel like the majority of 14's rides, air quotes, rides are. So, but every once in a while you take a risk and try something different.
But what's the last risk that worked out really well?
Pals of the Dead, Heaven on High?
And that was a while ago.
Well, but they've only done two since
they've
then.
had Diadem, they've had
Which was
Eureka.
kind of the same time, and Eureka's the only one since.
And and so that's.
I'd say Mahjong was a failure as well, but you love it.
I mean, I can say it's a failure. I'd be like, I fucking love that ride. Like, what's the worst ride at Disneyland?
Oh God. I don't know. Right now, you're putting me on the freaking
Little Mermaid ride.
the one I don't go on.
That is Mahjong, and I will ride that ride.
No, it's not.
I just picked one that I didn't think would be popular.
How dare you talk about the Little Mermaid that way?
Okay, how about that ride that is just like chains with a chair attached at the bottom and it just swings around?
That is amazing. No, it's the
You were scared as shit to go on that one last time.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride would be the worst one.
That's a badass ride.
See, you like that one. See, Ace just said, I love that death trap. It's a death trap. That's why I didn't want to go on that one. I'm going to die. Oh, Small World is pretty bad. That's pretty painful.
Yeah.
But
Mahjong's...
kids love it. And
oh, no. That was actually perfect. Mahjong is like Small World.
It is.
Because it takes for fucking ever.
Yep.
But if it's like super hot outside and you just want something to do for a little while.
Air conditioning for a little bit of time.
You just fucking ride that shit
You
forever.
go for it anyway.
Hell yeah. Mahjong is Small World.
It definitely is.
That's all we have tonight, guys. Episode over.
Highlight
ending on a high note.
Okay.
All right, next. Okay, so what do you want? You want thick asses or you want less predictable content cycles? Give me thick asses, baby.
Okay.
Next up, he lists a more inclusive character customization. The biggest issue that is specific to him, and I had not heard before, is that he wanted to be able to have a male voice for his female Lala character. I had never thought of that. Not sure why not. I never thought of that. Like people don't want gear to be gender locked. They don't want the voices to be gender locked either. And
I feel like if he'd have said any other race, it would have made more sense for me. But the Lalafels, the male and the females, are very similar. The differences are really like their eyelashes and their hairstyles and maybe the gear they can wear. They're very, very similar. But if you had said like a female Rogadin and they wanted a male voice, or a Mikote male, they wanted a female voice, I feel like I would actually like fully agree on that. But like the Lalafels are the only ones that I'm like, okay. They're all kind of high pitch. But and I also in chat saying I kind of sometimes forget about the voices that I have.
Because we only hear him like yelling. We don't actually hear him talking.
Like Chili yelling at me, no Avi, my Lala, super manly. Sure, Chili. Sure. Isn't it wearing a dress last time I saw it? I'm saying it because I don't know its pronoun.
I will say, like, I kind of agree with this more than
I agree with this.
His first couple topics.
Not just on voice, but on other elements. I don't like that you can only make skinny characters. I would love the ability to make them chubby and skinny, extra skinny, and give them like hips or a waist or no boobs or lots of boobs. Like I would love to have more character customization. I do agree with that. More inclusivity.
Like a front butt.
Sure, if that's what you really want. Like I actually would really like that. Again, that's another comment that I've talked about for a while.
I'll say that's a good one. More inclusive character customization, I think, would be a good step to keep it fresh.
Mhm.
And I think they probably get some good press for that.
I don't know that they get good press for that. I don't know that would be a press thing unless they
I think so.
actively made a point to say it's to make it more inclusive, which if that was a thing, it would be inclusive for sex and race.
Definitely rather have that than Seamless World. Just a personal thing.
But I mean, because Final Fantasy, and you're not even a glamour guy, but Final Fantasy is so glamour based that I don't understand why the characters aren't more customizable. I don't like that
We gotta wait for the next MMO. I mean, it's a function of the engine, probably.
We still haven't gotten a notification that the Viera females can use all those hairstyles you put all that effort into gathering, or the
Please look forward to it.
Yeah, like it's what the game is at this point.
Okay. What would you rather have? More inclusive character customization or thick booties?
In my opinion, more inclusive character customization includes thick booties.
All right, I'll give it to you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
We agree with you. More inclusive character customization over singular thick booties. Number 5, rounding out the list, is more freedom to explore. The crux of this point is basically invisible walls. And I kind of agree with this. I hate when there is a place that looks cool and looks like there should be a path to get to it, and there is an invisible wall preventing me from getting there. The example he used is someplace in the Shroud where there's a hole, like a well going down, and he wanted to jump down there, and you couldn't jump down there, which, it's kind of not very impressive in that point, but I get it overall. I really don't like not being able to get to where it looks like I should be able to get to.
Thick butt.
Thick butts right off the bat, don't even want to discuss.
I think we have so much more to explore. Who gives a fuck about your tiny little well that you can't get into? Oh my god, they put so much effort into so much more in this world. Why do you have to obsess about the pieces you can't see? Like, explore everything else.
Yeah.
Explore the rest of the world. Don't obsess about the thing you can't have. Obsess about what you do.
Totally agree. I'll take thick butts. And my biggest point would be what Ace Kaneki just said. More things to do in the overworld besides fates.
I agree with that. I feel like our list and chat's list would be very, I think a World of Warcraft enthusiast should write this. Someone who's not that should write this. God, I can't talk. This guy very, very much so wants this game to be Skyrim World of Warcraft. And it's not. And I think someone who's like a purist of Final Fantasy XIV and what you love just this game and what if you love just this game would make this game better and not trying to turn it into a different game.
100% agree.
As long as you can actually say the words properly.
What?
I can't talk.
All right, so that's enough about that article, I think.
It was a fun conversation, though.
I want to talk about something I had a lot of fun with this week, Avi.
What's that?
I got the opportunity to check out a play that we talked about on our last episode during the community roundup. It was A Starlight Carol, and goddamn, 10 out of 10, 5 stars all around. I would recommend again.
So it was a Starlight Carol, so it was like a Christmas carol?
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
And it was great. If you missed it, head on over to Stellazio Virtual Theater on Twitch and watch the VOD. It really was so damn impressive.
Honestly, you guys got Pete to watch A Christmas Carol, and he bitches about any
oh my god,
Christmas
your family
thing.
watches the same 2 movies over and over again.
Elf and Scrooge.
The timing and coordination
Scrooge, with Bill Murray.
Of the emotes
Family's
with
winning.
the line.
My family's winning.
Oh my god, shut up.
Wait.
Yes, I just did that.
Yeah.
And you almost didn't notice.
Apologize.
I am sorry.
Or
being awesome. The timing and coordination of the emotes with the lines of text was amazing. The creativity that went into the glamour and set pieces, Avi, amazing. It was so good. If you're like me and don't do well decorating your own house or making your own glamour, the stuff they did with their sets could spike some inspiration in you. And I'm talking about you specifically, Avi. You've gone through a rut with your decorating. Everything is pink in your house. It doesn't seem like there's that much variety. So I think you should go watch the VOD for A Starlight Carol. An amazing production. And maybe get good.
So he obviously doesn't want me to even be on this podcast with him anymore.
Damn, that took a turn.
You never even apologized officially for telling me to shut up. 1.
You kind of have to be watching
Chat
to get
even
this
acknowledge that it's like I'm talking to my child. Yep.
Accurate.
3, I'm intentionally trying to make the basement of my house like a pink flowery pixie land. So fuck your face, you motherfucking asshole. And tell me you're sorry in a more like realistic way.
I'm sorry. Fuck my face.
Well, that's not happening. Like at all.
Lo siento.
I'm still mad.
Well, to be honest,
he won't apologize. You guys hear this. Like, he won't just say, I'm sorry I told you to shut up. That's all I want.
I'm sorry I told you to shut up. I like when you talk. You challenge me, and that's what I like. And that's why I tell you to shut up sometimes.
Don't tell me to shut up anymore. Thank you.
I will not. But Avi, be quiet, because it's my part.
Oh my god. I don't know. You guys, he's not even that. He's not like drunk. He's just being
I'm
like,
just
weird.
being difficult, but I'm like, oh man, it's kind of me from now on with this. Okay. This is the Pete's Peeves, Avi.
Okay.
That's what we're getting to. But you feel free to chime in anytime you want, Avi.
Probably won't happen, but
because you should be able to talk as much or as little as your big brain and heart decide.
Thank you.
And I want you to talk if you have a feeling.
I doubt I will once you get
on a feeling
peeve.
or a thought.
Go into your
If you
thought.
have any of those,
okay.
Feel free to chime in.
Got it.
All right, Avi. Let's talk about PvP. My favorite part of the game. All I really have to say is same as it ever was, Avi. So instead of waiting...
Is that a Talking Head song?
Instead of waiting... I have no idea about that band. Okay, boomer. Instead of waiting for ice pillars to spawn and destroy and trying to capture or hold objectives, you just wait for the objective to spawn, the OVO, claim it, and move on to the next one while battling the other teams. A slightly different version of the same old stuff, which they said as much during or in the patch notes.
Which you quoted earlier.
Which I did. I will give it this, though. The queues were popping quick. Give it that. I wouldn't take that as a sign of success, though. I feel like the only real reason people are tolerating the new PvP is because of the new mount. So let's give Square Enix praise for that. They are real good at making mounts. Making good PvP, not so much. I think they need to stick with what they are good at. Cancel making new forms of the same PvP and just stick with making mounts. Free up that development time for something else. Add a new mount to a different PvP rule set every patch, and then people will play that PvP for 100 more wins, and they get the mount, rinse and repeat. Just do a current rotation with the fucking PvP that we already have. Now, as you know, Avi, I'm not the type of person to just bitch about something without giving a solution. And no,
yes, you are.
No.
That's so what you do.
No. It's not my typical solution of giving me a persistent world PvP zone to take keeps in. And as good as that would be, that's not what I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
My solution for this one specifically is easy. All they had to do was make it a bit more like the actual Nadam that we had in the MSQ. Think back to that. All those tribes in the Azim steppe. Pretty cool, right? For the actual instance, there were at least 4 that we had to battle. 4 actual tribes that we had to battle to get that OVO. But yet for the new Nadam PvP, we still only have 3 sides. We have 3 sides of 24 people. Why not 6 sides of 12? And play with 3 light parties per side. Or what I would prefer, 9 sides with 8 people. Let's make it feel like a Nadam. This does not feel like anything new. I would much rather have 9 groups all trying to beat the shit out of each other to win the Nadam.
I have a PvP dream speech.
There would just be one
amazing, KK.
fucking objective in the center and 9 teams competing for it.
So when you die, are you dead? You stay dead?
I would like that, but they'll never do that. They're not going to turn it into Battle Royale.
That would be cool.
And please, I know someone will email me about this. Don't give me this Grand Company shit as why we can't have that. The minute they made it so it didn't matter what Grand Company you were in and could play on any side for a quicker queue, Grand Companies became meaningless.
I actually will agree, because you can be any Grand Company. The Grand Companies don't matter.
Yeah. You're either on the red, blue, or yellow side.
Yep.
So just add some more fucking colors into there. I want to see the rainbow. What we got is just a slightly different rule set. And for me, it's a big swing and a miss.
I did the PvP before we started the podcast so I could test it out. And I do have to say, it's not as bad as some of the other PvPs they've implemented, but it didn't feel like anything new.
Not at all.
It felt like the same thing with a new skin.
And really, because you just said that, it wasn't even a big swing and a miss. It was actually just like a bunt. They weren't trying to hit a home run with this.
Yeah.
They were trying to bunt, and they fucking struck out. They didn't even make contact.
It was just a bunt. I wouldn't say they struck out. It was a bunt. It was, you know what? This works. We've done this before. We're going to keep doing the thing we've already done. And which makes it not exciting. It makes it not fun. They don't even have any cutscenes or anything that tie it to the Nadam. Like, I thought there was going to be something that made it feel like you were fighting people to be the winner, I guess. Like, and you're not even, you claim the thing, you move to the next thing. It's points. It's points. It's points. Who has the most points?
It's the same.
It's the same. And I guess it was disappointing.
We would have rather had thick butts.
I would have rather had thick butts.
Because this is
Garbage.
garbage.
I don't like that at all.
All right, I guess that was my Pete's Peeves. Same as it ever was.
Why are you going all like sad limp dick after you did your Pete's Peeve about your Peeve?
I'm disappointed.
In your peeve?
No, I'm disappointed in the new PvP.
Oh, I thought you sounded disappointed in your peeve, and I was super confused.
Super impressed with my peeve.
So bad.
It's impressive, guys.
Oh my god. Yeah, thanks, KK. I'm not saying that in audio. All right.
I think we got a little self-serving community roundup right now.
I think we do. Are you going to intro me?
The Baker.
No.
No?
The community roundup intro.
Oh. Community roundup, partner. We got a Baker here.
I had to explain that. So, if you guys remember, we did a...
Hey, you're trying to make me hype you up.
No, we did a fundraising campaign back in October for Ditch the Label. And if we reached our first goal, I don't remember if it was like $200 or $300. I don't know. I think it was $200. It wasn't a lot. It was just a decent goal.
$200 is a lot. I don't care what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, but I just was like, I thought like we can make this. We made way more than that, which means you guys are just amazing. But if we made $200, then I would do a live baking stream of my craft beer cupcakes, which is going to happen now. And I meant to talk about it sooner, but December is like a crazy hot mess, so it's happening this Sunday. I'm not making a craft beer cupcake, but I'm making the very first beer cupcake I ever made. It's an Irish bomb cupcake, and it's a Guinness chocolate cake with Bailey's buttercream frosting and a Jameson whiskey ganache, which will also have peppermint. So it'll be a chocolate mint kind of holiday cake. The reason I'm doing this particular cake, which is delicious, is because it gives me a lot of different elements to play around with different decorating techniques. So I'm going to be showing you guys some holiday techniques on how to decorate cupcakes, and maybe Pete, if he's like feeling into it, will join me. And so I will decorate one of the cupcakes, and then Pete will watch, and then he will try to decorate the cupcake.
Well, I will definitely be there with you.
He's not agreeing to this at all.
I will be doing the moderation. I will yell questions that chat has at you so you can answer them.
Yes.
And if you need me to do some decorating, if you need
I think it'd be kind of a little bit of a nailed it action, kind of fun to watch Pete try to
if you
decorate
need me to
some of the
try to
cupcakes.
show you how decorating is done, I can help out with that.
So, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've purchased like a wireless mouse, and we had to get extenders for our cameras. It's going to be a full experiment situation.
Wireless microphone, not a wireless mouse.
Did I say mouse? I'm tired. I meant microphone. And our kitchen is very, very, very tiny and not set up at all for streaming, recording.
It's going to be a tight fit.
It's going to be a tight fit, but I do think it's going to be a really fun stream. It's starting at 11 a.m. this Sunday, which is the 15th, and I don't know how long it's going to go because I don't know how long it's all going to take. But I definitely think you guys should come and watch because it's not only going to be like a baking stream, it's going to be like a let's see how this works.
And you are committed to 2 other ones because of how much we...
Yeah.
But if you guys would like to see this extend beyond that, not necessarily for cupcake streams, but I cook some interesting stuff sometimes. Avi cooks some interesting stuff sometimes. If we get enough good feedback about this, if enough people join us, because it's kind of a pain in our ass to set up, if you guys like that, then let us know. And you might get some more of those in the future.
I will only do cupcake baking streams.
Oh.
I don't want to cook. Pete may want to
I
cook
would do
stuff.
I don't bake unless it's pizza dough.
I only want to do baking. But I'll be doing 2 more cupcake baking streams. This one is just the holiday-specific decorating one. And Pete's stream on Sunday is normally at 10 a.m. I commandeered his Sunday for this stream because it's the only day that worked with other holiday commitments. So at 11, I'll be doing the baking stream.
So yeah, I might do a Final Fantasy stream on Saturday. But I'm also getting my hair cut, so we'll see.
And helping me prep to make sure everything works.
I'll be tweeting it out.
He won't be streaming on Saturday. It's not happening.
Late night stream, babies.
And thank you for the bits, Chili. We really appreciate you.
300 bits from Chili. Thank you so much.
Sweetheart.
Let's get into some listener reaction, Avi.
All right, go ahead.
First up, we have Susan Sprinkle, who says, tonight, the At Moogle Go Round Christmas extravaganza continues with special guests, the hosts of She Heals I Tank at Aviel and Vegan Pete, and the hosts of Maelstrom Radio, Flatus and Shintir, will be what a delight. Be sure to follow twitch.tv/MoogleGoRoundRadio to know when they go live. And we had a blast at this stream.
It was a lot
You guys
of fun.
need to go on over to twitch.tv/MoogleGoRoundRadio to watch the VOD, because I don't think the actual episode's going to be out until next year. So if you want to watch it early, if you want to watch it without any editing done.
We played the KFC dating game. Is that what it was called?
It was I Love You, Colonel Sanders,
You,
the KFC dating simulator.
There you go. And so it was wonderful. And in response
And
to
I
that,
was the Colonel.
he was the vegan, not so vegan Colonel Sanders. And Chili responded, "Thank you to everyone who turned up to the stream. It was a blast. And we finished the entire game, which I did not think we would do. Go check out She Heals I Tank.
It was a long stream, guys.
Maelstrom Radio for being incredible friends. Also, go give Susan Sprinkle a follow for being incredible support."
So yeah, all this listener
It was so
reaction
funny.
really isn't about the podcast.
He was the Colonel and I was the villain. Female chick. It was hilarious.
And in regards to Avi's Sunday cupcake stream, Papaya, or not Papaya, says, yes, yes, yes. They're like an even extra Namazu.
Mm-hmm.
Love the selection. Excited for this.
Thank you. I'm really excited, you guys. I am going to bake tomorrow to have some pre-baked cupcakes to be like Martha Stewart shit. Pulled out some that are already cool, but I am going to bake the ones that I make on stream.
So like
and then
double the amount.
Yeah, and then I'll hope that I don't forget about the timer.
So like when the first batch is baking, you can decorate the pre-made batch, and then you'll decorate
that way
the
I'm not
next
awkwardly
batch.
standing there while the other cupcakes are baking in the oven. But I guess I would be making frosting anyways, but then they have to cool.
Weren't you like a cheerleader though? Like can't you just like cheerlead during the intermission while you're waiting for stuff to cool?
I want to throw something at you. But yeah, no, I was a cheerleader, and then I was a mascot, so I was good at throwing candy.
Oh, we'll just put something on your head.
No, I didn't do that. I wasn't that kind of mascot.
What kind of mascot were you?
Culturally
A culturally appropriated mascot.
Yes.
Did you have a feather headdress?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah. Something I'm not so proud of now that I understand the world. All right. Pete, is there anything
On
else you
that
wanna add?
racist note,
So that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for spending your time with us. Be sure to hit that follow button so you know the next time we will go going live. Sorry. And a great big thank you to everyone listening to the podcast through iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, and whatever app came out yesterday that I haven't heard about yet. You guys really are the reason we keep making episodes. And remember, wherever you do listen, it would mean a shit ton to us if you gave our little shit podcast a rating or review. Or more importantly, tell a friend to check us out. Here with Vegan Pete, I am Avi Ale, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
goodbye.
Now shut up, Pete.
What?